Hi guys, welcome to another LivinginSAtv video. David and Alvaro here guys, and guess what? Today we're gonna do an in-depth visit inside of Ponte City apartments right here in Berea or Hillbrow?
Berea.
There you go, Berea guys. Again guys, stay tuned because once again this video will blow your mind.
Yeah.
Okay guys, so this is the main entrance where you guys can come and park inside of the building itself.
Let me take you along the journey within Ponte City apartment. This way. So we basically going 7 floors down, and this is like where everything pretty much began.
Yeah, you're right. Lead us the way, Alvaro.
Okay, this way. Yeah, this is it, man. Okay, so basically welcome to the core or the center part of the building. So this is where actually once the 14 stories high of trash once piled up all the way in 2001, and 14 stories high of trash, we're looking at 2 floors above the crisscross stairs over there. So that's how high the trash pretty much piled up over there. And how they managed to actually take out all this trash in the middle part of the building, it's actually by hiring manual labor. So you guys are gonna get to see the basement of the building is very tiny, and we don't pretty much have high ceilings. So the only best way to take out the trash is by actually bringing people down over here to actually take it out with use of their hands. And it took them a period of 2.5 years to finish clearing up the whole entire space over here. I mean, this has gone from being a trash hole to a Hollywood scene where quite a lot of Hollywood movies get shot down over here. The likes of Resident Evil Final Chapter 6 was shot down over here. Judge Dredd was shot down over here. District 9 was shot down over here, as well as our own special movie called Chappie was shot down up over here. So quite a lot of things have been done in the middle part of the building. Drake came here in 2014 to shoot a little music video titled Please Forgive Me. So a lot of works have been done over here, and the building owners don't charge you less than 300,000 rands for you to get anything shot here within the middle part of the building over here. So this is where they also make some of their money from, and also they make their money from the space and the advert board at the top. And Vodacom is currently paying 500,000 rands every month just to keep that board at the top over there. And also, if you look carefully, there's this rock which is just located in the middle part of the building. So this rock actually comes from the Witwatersrand going all the way east. So that's why the building was also constructed in a circle shape. It's actually because of this rock over here, because it plays a key important role in the construction of the building, and as well in the name Johannesburg, because the name Berg just at the end of Joburg, it actually comes from a German word which means a castle on top of a mountain, and the surrounding you call that a berg. So that's the reason why we have this natural rock over here, and that's why it was also left a bit hallowed. It's actually to also create alternative light within the building. So that's why the building is hallowed also in the middle, because there are old apartment laws that stated if a building is higher than 50 meters, there has to be natural light in the kitchen and natural light in the toilet. So that's the reason why this is actually hallowed, because it's to create alternative light. right, and all the kitchens and the toilets are in the corridors, so that's why it's suitable for us to actually have this place hallowed over here. So when they did the renovation of the building owners were actually renovating the building in a haste to make sure that it gets ready for the 2010 FIFA World Cup. So what they pretty much managed to do, or most of the renovation that they actually did, was actually most of it apartment. So the basement looks like it hasn't been untouched in like years and years and years and years and years. So the basement is one of the most scariest parts of the building. This is what actually tests whether you're gonna be able to actually come down over here and walk through Ponte City apartment over there. So all this hasn't been touched, and that's the reason why it looks a bit more scary, a bit more tempting than the other parts of the building over there. So they're actually trying to actually bring color into the space. Probably they might repaint it again, and we might have it looking a bit better than the other parts of the building over there. So here pretty much this is actually the ramp of the building. So initially when the building was constructed, it was meant for us to drive up the ramp and not down the ramp. So this is pretty much the old entrance of the building, where pretty much you could use this back then in the days. And when I talk about back in the days, I'm talking about 1976, 1971, all those years when the building was constructed. But the other new one that is actually newly built, so that was actually made in the 2000 for people to actually access that. And this has been closed up, and there's a guy who actually does some recycling work. So everyone that drinks a beer, more likely your bottle might end up here getting crashed, and you have like the guys coming down over here to collect some of the beer bottles. So it's for recycling purposes over here. So it's 7 floors also up, and we use the same stairs 7 floors down. So it's like we have 2 ways or 2 alternatives for us to actually go through over there. So that's pretty much what's located over here at the ramp. And this is also being rented out to our local taxi owners. So the guys that actually drive the minibus taxis actually use that bottom part as a parking space, whereby they'll park their taxis after every ride is being completed during the day or at the end of the day. So that's why we have a lot of minibus taxis over there. I think it's also a sign to also protect it. I mean, it's a tons of space. The building is very huge, and it's not, you know, good to leave like other negative spaces. So I think it's a good idea to have people actually renting it out over there. And also these 3 levels from P3 going all the way to the bottom, that's all negative space. Nobody uses that parking, and it's not used by any tenant, and it's usually empty. So the kids usually use these 3 parking lots for them to actually play around, to walk around, you know, pretty much more of the sportive space for the kids over there. And also with the organization, we were thinking of also creating a skating arena, because skating is quite a huge thing around the neighborhood, whereby kids can actually come down here and actually skate around the parking lot. But we're still waiting for that proposal to get approved, and once it gets approved, then we might have like a skating arena for the kids to come here and skate in one of those parking lots.
Tell me one thing, what about Fast and Furious?
Yeah, well, Fast and Furious actually also did a very good thing here back in 2018. They actually did one of their movie trailers of drifting down over here with cars, and that was like awesome to get to see all those loud engines, you know, just make noise. I stayed 42 floors away from here, and I could hear them, you know, rumbling. That was like very, very amazing. Just coming down here, getting to see all these cool cars parked just at the bottom there. That's super, super amazing.
So one of the most epic shots.
So now we're just gonna go up on top of the building. Let's get to see whether it's as bad as most people think it is, or it's as good as most people think it is. So just put down there in the comment section what you guys actually think, whether is it bad or is it good. So we're just gonna take an entrance over here, and we're gonna go up within the building and get to see what awaits us at the top over there. Okay, so welcome to Ponte City apartment. For us to have access, we're just gonna sign up at the security over there. It's our tourism book to be granted access. So you're just gonna sign in, then we'll be granted access over there. Orlando. Sure.
Wait. Someone 운전이. So this is.
Yeah, the pen.
So you got a different book, so...
Yeah, so that's just to collect the pen, that is for the washing line. Okay. So here you can just put in, your name, the date, name, surname, country, signature, and all. And you can use the first insta just to go through over there. Since you're not a resident, sadly you cannot use the face recognition to enter the building. So you can just use the first insta and it's gonna open from inside.
Okay, cool. Can you go, Baba?
And the number one things that always strike people, it's these keys over here. So pretty much this is like a tenant or tenants that actually share a key, so they can come and drop their keys down over here, and once the kid or whoever comes back can come and collect the keys. So we call that the mini treasure hunt within the building, so you can treasure hunt your keys. So we have actually 8 elevators in total. These 4 are on the low rise and these 4 are on the high rise. So these are high rise elevators. Since we go into a high rise building or a high rise apartment, we use these sets of elevators over there. So the building has 54 floors and the elevators goes as far as the 52nd floor. So the reason being, it's actually divided between the 7 squatters and other luxury apartments. So basically 52, that's where the luxury apartment ended off, and the 53rd, 54th, that was the 7 squatters within the building. And this is very fast elevators, newly also renovated, so it shoots up in about like 30 seconds. You are up already without any, if there's no one stopping, it's like a 30-second thing just to go from downstairs up until to floor 51. So it's pretty much a very fast elevator over here.
We're doing 2 floors per second. This is crazy. Is it you?
Yeah.
So tell me, Alvaro, how is like living inside of Ponte?
It's amazing. I've stayed here since 2011. It was during the period when the building was still undergoing renovations. That's like 13 years, within the building. It's been an amazing experience. Although I've seen a lot of, critical cases. I've seen people throw themselves. I've seen people actually commit suicide. I've seen people mistakenly get thrown out of the window by mistake. And also I've seen a lot of horrific cases while staying up over here. And I remember when I was a kid, I was always forced to stay indoors. They used to call it back then grounded. And I was grounded like 12 months, wouldn't go out and things like that because they were avoiding me to be the next kid to actually go out through the window. So I've seen a lot of horrific cases. Well, that has actually changed. I mean, we thank the new management. I mean, the work that they're actually doing around the building itself is a lot, so that has completely changed. We haven't had any suicides since 2018. The only case was in 2018, someone tried jumping, but unfortunately they didn't die. They ended up landing in the pool and broke a back. And that's the only last case that we had. I was pretty much a bit worried, during COVID, because I was expecting a lot of cases of people actually throwing themselves, getting depressed because we're gonna be indoors. But that actually didn't happen. And ever since 2018 till to date, we haven't had any cases of COVID within the building. The building itself, it's amazing. I mean, we have stayed here for 13 years. The views are always breathtaking. And also, during COVID, this is called Ponte City, so we had shops at the bottom part of the building. That means that we don't have to stand in long queues just to buy one loaf of bread. And here in the building, we just have, a city within a city concept. So you can stay here, have the mini mall at the bottom part where you can go and do your shopping. So it's a very amazing building to stay at. The only thing that I'll say short sick is an ATM machine. Just that would make us not to pretty much go outside. We'll now be locked in.
Okay guys, so now we're gonna do a small apartment right here on the 52nd floor with amazing views, guys. Let me show you. Okay, don't mind now. Actually, the lady is now cleaning up the apartment. Yo, look at the views. Look at it. Let me show you first the views. Oh wow, Johannesburg Stadium and Ellis Park Stadium, guys. Oh wow, this is like the other side of the building. Now look at this. How beautiful this. Look at the kitchen. Oh wow. Just English. And you guys can see it leaves so much for the imagination what you can do with these apartments with the best view out of town. Show you guys. Wait. There you go. Very nice. This is how the high life society used to live back in the 1970s, 1980s when the building was finished. We could get used to this actually. Now, let me know down below if you guys like this side of the house. Now let me show you guys the other room. Look at this. Spacious room, eh? Oh, very interesting. Okay, here you go. We got walk-in bathroom. Remember the days that these places were built without a shower. There's a shower on the other bathroom, so it's not a problem at all. Oh, and of course, look at that. Oh, wow. Down below, guys, let me know what you think.
So welcome to floor 5101. Okay, so welcome to floor 5101. So floor 5101 is actually the first apartment on the 51st floor. So this is basically our event space where we host a variety types of activities, birthday parties, sunsets, engagement parties, and more. So this was the original apartment of Nicholas Bauer, who was a spokesperson for ANC and also worked for the ENCA newspaper and all that. So this was his original apartment, and he's the one that also began the organization all the way in 2012. So he was sent here by his boss to shoot like a mini video about the building. So they wanted him to interrogate a prostitute, a gangster, you know, human trafficker and all that. But when he came here in 2012, the building had already sadly completed its renovation, so he couldn't pretty much get anything done within the building, and he rather decided to stay up over here, and he started an organization by just running a housewarming party. So him and Loopy came up over here, had a housewarming party, and they started brainstorming ideas on how they could create something that could benefit the community, and that's how we pretty much started off as Lalanje. But what he managed to actually get off the building was a little newspaper article titled High Life in a Ponte Penthouse. So that was more something that he was actually able to actually document of the building. And I'm sure you guys can hear there's this wind that is just making some noise. So these are actually the first aluminium windows that were being produced during those periods back in 1970s. I mean, they started being produced in 1960, and in 1970 it was a thing over there. So these windows have been with the building since the construction of the building was completed. So that's the reason why some of them make a lot of noise. You might hear them sing a lot, oh, and that might be irritating, you know, because of the wind. And also that plays parcel in the construction of the building, because the wind is hitting the windows and it's pretty much going around. And the one that is actually making the sound is the remain of it's in between the spaces of the windows over there. So we usually have this, some apartment windows are being changed to new windows and all, but this are the first aluminium windows that were being produced during those periods. I mean, the bathrooms are located straight ahead over there. This is a very awesome bathroom. Most people are always like, wow, this sink is crazy, it's insane. So the bathroom is located here. We have like 3 bathrooms over there that people can actually use for events and all, and we cater around 70 to 80 people maximum within this specific apartment over here. Above that, we can pretty much cater for. And windows also do open. You can just slide them off to the left hand side. Let's test how windy it could be. Oh. So
Wash your hands, wash your hands. Give people the experience.
so this is pretty much, you know, how you wash your hands here, you know. You wash your hands having the beautiful view, you know. You look at the view and the view is just amazing up over here. You see it from any part of the city. You see it around over here. You have Hillbrow over there where there's the telecom tower. That's Hillbrow. Then you have Rosebank, you have Sandton, then you have Midrand, you have the Pretoria over there. So you pretty much see a lot of things from up at the top over here. So yeah, this is pretty much what we do over here. So basically, we're just going to talk a bit about the building, you know, where it also comes off from and what it is currently living here. I mean, it's always great to have someone like David, you know, to come here and get it also from a perspective from someone that has lived here for around about 13 years or 13 good years within the building over here. So it's a very good experience that we have had while staying in the building. Well, the construction of the building goes back all the way in 1971. Was completed in 1976, you know, after being designed by an architect called Rodney Groskopf together with Malfred Amir. Guys, I just wanted to say very quick that Malfred Amir actually studied here at the Wits University in 1930, graduated in 1938 over here. He studied architecturing over here, and looking at this Greek architecture, this is amazing to get to see this space right over here, guys. So Malfred Amir was also the main architecture, but he passed on all the way in 2010, you know, from the age of 95 from cancer. But the only alive architect currently is Rodney Groskopf. That is the only alive architect within the building. So those are the two main guys that also played a key important role within the building. Rodney Groskopf changed the structure of the building from a rectangular shape. He decided to fold it and make it into a circle shape because of the mountain that we got to see in the middle part of the building over there. So they wanted to create, they wanted to use the whole entire property of the building. So that's why they ended up folding it and making it in a circle shape over there. It actually cost them 11 million to actually construct this skyscraper, and that was only back in 1971. I mean, imagine how much that was back in those period over that side over there. Well, when the construction of the building was completed in 1976, this ended up attaining the name Ponte. The name Ponte comes from an Italian word which simply means just a bridge. So the reason why they called it Ponte, it's actually because of the materials of the building. The building is always, or it was built with raw concrete, and a bridge is usually built with raw concrete. So that's the reason why they called it Ponte. The name city comes from it being a city within a city. So the concept was for you to stay up over here and have a mini mall at the bottom part of the building over there. So that meant that you could stay up here and pretty much access the mall at the bottom part and not have to leave the gates of the building or the doors of the building in search of anything. So that's why they called it Ponte City apartment. All apartments came in fully furnished. You didn't have to worry about moving in here with furnitures and things like that. Everything came in here fully furnished. And this was pretty much, you know, the duplexes apartments back in those periods. I mean, there's a set of stairs just over there that you could access the other apartments off from. This is where your kitchen was located at. The two doors just in the far corners, that was a wine cellar, the smaller one. The bigger one, that was a dorm waiter for you to actually put some goods in there to access some apartments at the top. You also had a sauna back during those periods within the building, and as well as a jacuzzi, just depending on how wealthy you were, because back in those periods you could purchase apartments, you couldn't actually rent an apartment. So it was actually designed for rich people who could stay within the building all the way back in 1976, only for the wealthy people, due to also the gold rush, because most of the mines are located in the southern part of the city. So all those rich guys would come and stay down over here. So this was only created for rich mine workers during those periods when the doors of the building was opened. But what made it to becoming a very dangerous place? It's actually because back in 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, South Africa struggled with people of higher skills. So they had to outsource all these high skillful guys from overseas country. And this was one of the neighborhoods that was allocated, you know, for the people coming into South Africa from other international countries over there. So some of them, the liberal thinking of people of darker skin colors, the likes of Indians, coloreds, which are later known as mixed color race, and of course the blacks. So most of them didn't have any issues with them, so they started to actually mix with all these different races all the way in 1980s, and it has been going for quite some time, you know. So it started growing into a habit during the 1980s. That's how the apartheid government actually managed to hear of what was happening around these three neighborhoods over here. So the likes of Trevor Noah, if you guys are familiar with Trevor Noah, which is one of South Africa's very famous comedian, born of two mixed color parents, father from Switzerland and his mom who's actually also from South Africa. So he's pretty much a typical example of what was happening around these three neighborhoods, because he also comes from this exactly neighborhood over here. So he was a resident. So he's a typical example because of his skin color. That's why later on, I think 7 years ago, he released an awesome book titled Born a Crime that talks more about that apartheid regime, because he wasn't allowed to be born of two mixed color parents. So he titled that book Born a Crime, because he was technically born a crime. So that book talks more about that apartheid regime during those periods back in those days over there. So because of his skin color, that's why in 1985 the apartheid government ended up declaring these three neighborhoods as a gray area. So them declaring it as a gray area, pretty much, you know, they blacklisted it from all government services, like placing some sanctions on it, like operation of banks, cleaners cleaning the streets, police patrolling the streets. They also made it illegal, you know, for any possible investment to go through these three neighborhoods over here. So them declaring it as a gray area, that forced a lot of people who stayed here to actually fear for their life, and that's how most of the people started to abandon their buildings, leaving it empty overnight. So that's how building abandoning actually grew into a habit, and that's how Ponte City apartment fell victim of being hijacked all the way in the late 90s. But in 2001, the building was known as a first vertical urban slum in Africa. So that basically meant that there was an informal settlement contained in Ponte's wall, because Ponte is known for housing 2,500 people maximum, but when it was hijacked, it was known for housing 7,000 to 8,000 people. That is 7 times the numbers of what the building could actually carry. So all the 7,000 to 8,000 people once lived here. Gangsters, mafias, prostitutes, all the bad things that you could actually imagine was once living in Ponte's wall. You also had human traffickers that lived within the building over here. So the building had a very bad reputation, because it was also known for being a suicidal center for a while, where many people came down over here to actually end their lives. Gangsters killed certain people and also chucking them in the middle part of the building. About 23 dead bodies was actually located in the middle part of the building. So this was known for being a bad space over there, and it was also rated as number 2 of the most ugliest building in Africa over there. So what pretty much that meant in 2002, because of its ugly structure, because it's a brutalist building, so they wanted to make this into a building. So Paul Silva from the Old Trafford prison, which is Constitutional Hill, wanted to actually turn this into the first tallest prison in the world all the way in 2002. What a very good idea, but the location is what actually pretty much couldn't make, or they couldn't actually turn this into a prison, because we have a university behind us, we have high schools, we have hospitals over here. So if this became a prison, all these facilities was going to close down, and that is where most of the governments also benefit of some of their money. And also government officials make money off taxes of water and electricity. So if this became a prison, that pretty much meant the surrounding part of the building most of the people were gonna move away once more, and that meant that they were gonna actually run out of money. But that idea just went much further than the talk on the table. So the building, or the current building owners, are called the Kempston's Truck and Hire Company. So they came into the picture of the building all the way in 2000s, but they couldn't actually get the building because the building was hijacked. But the only way for them to be able to try and gain access into the building was all the way in 2003 with access or with assistance from the government. So the government actually gave them a great way out for them to be able to play an important role in the construction or in the renovation of the building. So what they did, they actually came down up over here, granted them, access within the building protection, and the building owners ended up hiring, an ex-apartheid police officer called Dennis Silas with his wife Elma, to try and evict the 7,000 to 8,000 people. I mean, this is a logistic company. That's why they didn't pretty much, have any sort of thoughts on how to try and evict the 7,000 to 8,000 people. So if you read a newspaper, they want to tell you that Dennis Silas single-handedly, came down over here, chuck everyone out overnight. I mean, that to me sounds like a good Chuck Norris movie. If you love movies like me, that's like a Chuck Norris movie over here. Pretty much one man coming here to evict 7,000 to 8,000 people. I mean, it's like him digging his own grave. But he actually got assistance, from an eviction company called the Red Ant. So that is one of South Africa's private eviction company. They wear reddish overalls and they deal with eviction around the city of Johannesburg and the whole entire country. Most of these guys are actually ex-convicts from prisons, so they do things pretty much a hard way over there. But it took them a period of 3 years to finish clearing up the whole entire building over there. And one of the greatest things that came about in 2006 when the building was cleared up, that announcement of the 2010 FIFA World Cup in 2004. So there was a lot of property which were demanded all the way in that period, because South Africa was expecting 250,000 plus of people coming in for that 2010 FIFA World Cup. So there wasn't enough reserved accommodation, within the country. So if you owned a building privately, you pretty much were given the opportunity by the government to turn that into Airbnb, into a hotel, into whatsoever, just to create alternative accommodation for that 2010 FIFA World Cup. And that property boom took place around these neighborhoods over here. I mean, it's a 15-minute walk just behind the building, catching Spain, losing the opening game all the way in the 2010 FIFA World Cup. It's a 15 to a 25-minute walk going all the way to Park Station. That is where you'll get your minibus taxi taking you all the way to Soweto, catching Spain, winning the final game. I mean, shout out to Andres Iniesta for scoring that goal at the end over there. It's a 45 to an hours using the national road, going all the way to the OR Tambo International Airport, catching your flight, going back home. I mean, it's a 2-minute exit just to the highway, going all the way to the OR Tambo International Airport. So this was central to that 2010 FIFA World Cup. So that's the reason why we don't have a lot of hijacked buildings around the neighborhood, but within the city of Joburg, there are over 600 hijacked properties within the city of Johannesburg. 200 of them are actually huge buildings that are actually hijacked within the city of Johannesburg over there. So this is still an ongoing habit that the city of Joburg is still facing over there. And Ponte was also followed up by 2 flying investors, Noor Ayub and David Sylvan. I mean, they followed up the building owners, telling them that they want to buy the building for 100 million rands. I mean, that was a very good, idea, for them to try and purchase the building, but the building couldn't get signed off to them because they had an agreement that they're gonna only sell the building to them after a space of 20 years after they have completed them paying that 100 million rands over there. The building owners gave them the opportunity to come down up over here to start the huge renovation project. I mean, they started renovating the building and also advertising it with names like "Welcome to the Champagne in the Sky," "Welcome to the New York style," "Welcome to the Dubai style." So there was a lot of adverts that was going on during that period to try and get in attention for that 2010 FIFA World Cup. So a lot of people caught in within that attention that, oh, once a horrific space is now being turned around and becoming a good space, why not just mine getting an apartment up over here? So a lot of people started placing orders for their apartments. Some of them didn't actually want to waste for that traffic, so they just immediately purchased some of the apartments up over here. So these two investors did a lot of renovation works at the top over here, but in 2008 they were actually caught up with two huge things that hit the country. One, the global financial recession, and the other, the xenophobic violence, which pretty much was one of the roughest periods that we had in South Africa, having lost like 70 to 80 lives during that 2008 xenophobic violence over there. So all the residents or all the immigrants that were staying here during those periods, some of them started moving into local townships, and the locals pretty much felt threatened because all these properties, most of them were undergoing renovations, so most of the people couldn't stay here, so some of them moved to townships and all that, and the locals pretty much felt threatened that these guys are here to take over, these guys are bringing the drugs, these guys are bringing all this impact or bad negative impact within their communities, and that's how that xenophobic violence actually was brought out within the country. And the global financial recession affected also the renovation of the building in a way. It actually exposed these two flying investors to be frauds. So these two investors didn't have the 100 million rands. They were actually getting these 100 million rands via an offshore account. So when the crisis happened, they also ran out of money, so they couldn't actually complete the renovation of the building in time. They ended up actually closing their offices all the way in Braamfontein and running out of the country. So the building owners tried emailing them, tried calling them, they tried just to establish any sort of communication, but nothing was pretty much done during those periods. So frustration grew in the people, and in 2009 they decided to take the buildings to court, and the ones that were summoned to court were of course the owners of the building, because the building was still under their name. So they were summoned over here to try and actually explain as to what was the deal between them and the two investors. Luckily, they were able to close down the deal, whereby they told the judge that the agreement was for them to actually pay these 100 millions in a space of 20 years, and that agreement wasn't actually completed, and we pretty much don't know what else to do with the building. But the city of Joburg forced them to come and pick up from where the actually two investors had left off from, and that was like 45% of accommodation, which was completed during that period. So throughout 2010 the building was still undergoing renovation, but most of the money that was made off through the apartment or the building was actually the old Coca-Cola sign at the top, and Coca-Cola was paying them 70,000 rands just to advertise for Coca-Cola at the top over there. And that was most of the money which was used to actually completing the renovation of the building in 2012. In 2012, that's when the renovation of the building was completed, and today it's completely safe. It's not as bad as most people would think it to be. We stay here, we have seen change occur from beginning till now, so there is a lot of things that have actually happened within the building. They've installed new security system. You use your facial recognition just to access the building. It's no more the fingerprint system that pretty much some of the buildings use around up over here. The CCTV cameras around the building over here, meaning that you're pretty much safe. If anything was to go missing or you have a situation, you pretty much have your eyes all over the building. You have also securities that also patrol the basement and the corridors on a 24-hour note over there. It's really much a very comfortable building to stay at. You sadly cannot purchase an apartment today. You can only rent an apartment, and the rentals will cost you around 2,500 rands, going all the way to 8,525 rands. That's like for a 4-bedroom apartment over there. So its building is around about 486 apartments, standing at 173 meters high. Sadly, the Egyptians actually surpassed us. Last year, they constructed one of the tallest residential buildings, so we are actually seated at second place. But we are actually the tallest residential building for around about 46 years, so we had enough time to actually triumph over there. But the Egyptians actually took over just last year in 2023 by them constructing the tallest residential building in Africa. But this still remains as one of the most iconic spaces around the continent of Africa and globally. I mean, we have a lot of, people that come down here, to do a lot of works. I mean, movies have been shot here, quite a lot of things have been shot here. I mean, a lot of things get done within the building, from it, they're just trying to also regenify it. So this is one of the most iconic buildings in the world, I would say, coming off from being one of the most luxurious apartments to being a dangerous space to now being a comfortable space where families actually call it home today, so it's not as bad as most people think it is. It's just regentrification is taking place. For those of you that are interested to actually regenifying the city, it's not only the building but the city, I urge you guys, to come down up over here, come and do these tours, come and learn more about what pretty much happened rather than hearing it off a newspaper, of someone telling you that the neighborhood is dangerous, you come here, you might get killed. Nightlife, of course, is dangerous. There's sometimes whereby I hear gunshots, at night, pa, 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 in the air and all that. I don't pretty much know what's going on around over here, but during the day, it's as safe as a bird, flying just around over here. So it's pretty much comfortable during the day, but nightlife, you wouldn't really want to be walking on the streets, it's pretty much, you're more likely to actually get robbed. Doesn't only apply here, it applies anywhere around the city or around the world over there, but today it's a completely safe building and considered to being one of the most luxurious apartments within the neighborhood over here. So that's pretty much the history of the building and some parts of the neighborhood.
Okay guys, the hijack building we saw last time, which one was it?
It's just you see the orange yellowish.
Yeah, so it's that one.
Yeah, just that one.
Oh wow. So that one there, you guys can see that's the road that takes us from Ponte, so the building is that one.
This perspective of Ponte, not only Ponte but
Okay, cool.
you probably know what you said. Who knows, you might want to take something.
Okay guys, now I'm gonna show you guys the shops. How's it guys? Good. Okay, let's go.
The place takes stuff.
Ah yeah, look at that. Look at that.
So you just go eat.
And look at that. I'm gonna go in now. Okay, I'm ready to go. Thanks, Bafu. Okay, brother, let's do this.
Okay.
Let's take the mic. Okay, what are we gonna do now?
So now we're basically going to the convenience space of the building. Remember I mentioned when we spoke about the building, it be designed being a city within a city. So we basically now going to the convenience space. And why do they still call it Ponte City? Why is the name city still intact within the name Ponte? So this is the convenience space. This is a local shopping, grocery shopping over here's shop for us to do our mini grocery shopping. That's a fruit and veg shop over there for us to do some of our shopping for fruits and veg over there. We also have our own hairdressing salon over here. If you wanna get your hair done and the most important, key important things, you can get it done over here. You have a restaurant that you could also do some works over here. Food, if you want some food, you can come down over here for food. Preschool for the kids over here. We have laundry, of course. That's also a very important thing, aspect, especially for single guys. Especially for single guys, this is the most important thing. We have also Green World, where you can also consult some doctors in case if you're sick. Let us also not forget also our mini African shop over here, where we get everything done from over here. So you also have a pizza shop over here, where you can get everything over here. So pretty much this is where you would want to get some Italian pizza, pizza. You also have our own photo studio over on the other side as well, where you also get some good lovely photos. There is also another hairdressing salon. I mean, one thing, it's always about competitions. Pottery, of course, these guys that create all this here. So we can go through and just also check out. These guys are actually big, so they do a lot of pottery around the building and globally. And they actually went big last year in Germany. So these guys are actually doing good jobs, from greater plates over there, cups, to all those things over there. So these guys are doing some good works around over here. And mind you me, everything is being hand painted and hand drawn. So all this is being done by hand. It's being done by hands, all this. And there's an oven here, the cooker, of course, where they cook all those things over there. So these guys are actually very big around here as well. And that's one of the big guys sitting there as well. So he's a big guy as well. So thank you so much. Oh, sure. And that is another hairdressing salon. And this used to be an existing perfume shop, but it's closed up and not really used that much as well. So this is a perfume shop, and this is also a Kota world. So Kotas are bunny chows that we have in South Africa. So this is what is located around here today. So this is basically why they still call it Ponte City apartments.
Alvaro, let me ask you something. What type of businesses do you guys need here at Ponte that it's missing? You mentioned the ATM.
Yes. Butchery. We need a butchery. If we can get a butchery, that will be appreciated. And if we can get also, let's say, cinemas. Let's get cinemas. If we can get cinemas, that will also be appreciated. I mean, look at this kind of space. I mean, this would be a very good cinema over here, you know. I mean, with all this kind of space, this would be a very good cinema. So I think those are the two businesses that I think are important. We don't have a bakery already, so if we can get a bakery shop as well.
How many clients?
Whew, that is like, we're looking at like 2,500 clients, because that's how much the building can carry. So you are more likely to make much more profit on a daily basis. That means that people won't have to leave the doors to go in and out, but they're actually within here. So I think that's something that we could get more of the basic needs that we need on a daily basis. Okay guys, welcome to our community center. The name is called Zalanje. So you can just come in and we can have a little just introduction of what we're all about. Sadly, we are closed actually for the festive seasons, so pretty much there's nothing that's gonna take place with the kids over here, but we are an NPO that provide, you know, a safe space, you know, for the kids living around the neighborhood. I mean, the neighborhood itself is known for having a lot of, you know, related like gun violence, you know, drugs, all those, you know, negative things that could actually impact the kids' mind. So what we do, we just create a safe space for kids to come down over here just to be themselves and come down with that word just play, because the name Zalanje just means just play over there. So what we do, we give a lot of kids a lot of homework facilitations. We provide 2 awesome licensed teachers that get to assist the kids with some of the playing activities and as well as homework facilitations over there. We have a guy, his name is he's a Pantula dancer. So he used to do very good dance at one of the local South African shows called I Do the Stambosa. So he's the one that actually facilitates some of the local dance, which is called Pantula, the Zulu dance over there. We have coding, which is basically a skill for the teenagers that come down over here and embark on these skills over there. We have volunteers that can devote their times over here. We're trying to also tackle the unemployment rate of also creating our own, you know, way of us to try and create income or generate income for some of the older ladies by having a swimming program with our own rooftop garden over there that kids can actually embark on over there. I mean, we provide this safe space. Kids can come down here for free. They don't have to pay any money or any monthly fee towards the space. Only thing that the kids can actually pay is them devoting their time by coming here for activities and all that. And pretty much for every activity that a kid comes down here for, it's being recorded in a sticker-like form over there. So each sticker represents a different type of activity that the kid has embarked on. So at the end of the year, they get to calculate how many stickers each kid has, and that kid with the most stickers stand a chance to go out for that 3-day camp, which is the Magaliesberg camp over there. So they get to go to Magaliesberg camp, and that is completely for free. It's just an award for us just to give them, you know, for them just motivate them, for coming down here on a daily basis. So we have the kids center here and the teenage center just across over there, and also there's judo in case if they want to learn self-defense, martial arts, all those things. So they can actually come down over here for judo. There's sensei who actually teaches them judo and all that. If they want to do judo, it's all completely free. You don't have to pay any money. We also have the gym over there. They can come here if they want to lift some weights. More of a sportive, thing whereby kids can come here just for them to be able to embark on different types of interesting stuff over here. So we have a local gym that they can come to. If they do judo, the gym is for free, and if you don't do judo, you have to pay for the gym. So it's pretty much how it is, and you can learn some martial arts, defense over here. We have also shopping centers also that side. We have a mini grocery shop, a hairdressing salon, a pedicure, a pizza oven, all those things that you still want to actually need or you need within the building over there. So that's the reason why they call it Ponte City.
Away. Okay guys, so I'm gonna say goodbye to you guys. Make sure that you come and visit Ponte Nelalange, and make sure guys that you share, subscribe and destroy that like button, and we will see you in the next LivinginSAtv video.